I'm so glad I caught that. I was literally just about to turn everything off. Just going through the codes and I've just found fuel level and apparently it's not empty. I mean, thanks. That's so helpful. I love it. Toyota Aqua 2015, we're having lots of issues, overheating issues, engine lights doing all sorts of weird things, and with this topology feature on the new XTOOL D9 Pro, it is just awesome. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Yes, we are using my new XTOOL D9 Pro. Now, what I really like about this is the topology. So it tells you all the modules and basically what circuit they're on. And as you can see, we do have issues with certain modules and we don't have with certain others. So, you know, that kind of goes without saying. But what I really like about this, and I always bang on, the most important thing, or one of the most important things of a scan tool, is to get the battery voltage. Constant battery voltage, and with the actual unit here, it tells you it constantly, which is absolutely bloody awesome. Now, if you remember, I did another video and I quickly scanned this and we maybe have come up with the issue, but what I'm going to do is just go through this. So I've just scanned it and this is what it's come up, and what I'm going to do now is just essentially look at the report. So we're going to go report, and what this is doing is this is telling us everything that is good, bad or indifferent with the car. Now it's just started itself because it was on, because what I really want to do is check the temperature of the engine. So I'm just going to turn it off now for the minute because I don't want it to heat up too much, and then we will figure out exactly what's going on. Right, with this being a hybrid, when I'd stop swallowing flies, we have a couple of different cooling things here. So we obviously have the normal radiator engine cooling, but we also have another cooling package. So what I've actually done is I've just had a quick look, and the coolant in that bottle is more or less bang on, certainly not low enough to cause any issues. And the coolant in the radiator, now the engine is a bit warm, so I have to be careful. Yeah, I shouldn't have maybe started for as long as I did. But the water in the radiator is at the top, and you can just see I've just undone a little bit, so it's just let a bit out. It's not boiling hot, but it's still a bit warm. If you remember on the other video that I did, I only quickly went into this, but because of the scan tool, it's bi-directional control, we could use the, you know, trying to control the pump, and I couldn't physically hear the pump. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't working. I had the bonnet down, I was inside the car, I just couldn't hear the pump. So it's looking like the fact now we've got water in all of our systems, it's maybe not a leak. It is maybe some type of pump issue, maybe. So I'm just going to get some temperature up on the scan tool, run it for a few more minutes and see what happens. I did hear the fan kick in when I was running it, and the fan did kind of kick in quite quickly, considering it was only running for 3 or 4 minutes, which you really wouldn't expect it to kick in that quickly from a cold start. Right, okay, and it's just nice and easy to go into each module. If I just physically press it, and then we can go straight into the diagnosing of it, or the actual module itself, and then we can do all our functions or anything we need to do from here depending on what we're actually doing. So the first thing I want to do is just go to some live data and see what data PIDs we've got, what we can put on and what we can monitor essentially. Now I've got 164 data PIDs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these and I'm going to see which one's the best ones. I'm going to click on them. I'm going to do a custom page basically, because obviously the least we have on at the time, the quicker the refresh rate is. The more we have on, the longer it takes. That kind of goes without saying. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll see exactly what's going on. Just going through the codes, and I've just found fuel level, and apparently it's not empty. I mean, thanks. That's so helpful. I love it. Right, so this is what I've come up with. So we've got engine or coolant temperature, we've got battery voltage. Even though I've got the battery voltage down there, I just also like to have it here as well. And what I really was interested in getting, which we've got, is the electric fan, so we know when that physically kicks in, but also the water pump, so the speed of the water pump and the target, basically, so what it should be and what it actually is. That will give us a really good indication. Also, we've got previous trip temperature, as you can see, 99 degrees, so basically close to boiling. So let's start this. Oh, see, this is the problem. Well, not the problem, but I have to keep my foot on the throttle. But already I can see the issue. You see how important live data is. It's so important for everything. And what we can also do is, which is really handy, we can graph. We can graph things. So if you need to, you know, graph it right, because the problem is, see, now it's gone off. That should be on. Keep my foot on the throttle and all done. Come on. Because when you're just reading it like this, you might easily miss something that, you know, could happen in a split second. But when you graph it, you can clearly see if there's any dropouts, because we can zoom out of this graph and we can graph it for a longer period of time, so you can see if anything actually drops out. Now you can see, look, the water pump basically is wanting, you know, 3,500 RPM, and it's doing absolutely sweet bagger all. So that's our issue. So can I, if I graph, oh yeah, we can graph all of them at once, which is handy. So you can graph all of them at once, but we really don't need to do that at the minute. So every time the pump is commanded, every few seconds or every few minutes, it's commanding it, but it's not bloody doing anything. So we're going to have to check out the electric pump. Right, look, you can see it's changing. So if I graph that, it's changing to what it wants every few minutes. Well, depends, normally within a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, it's commanding it on, it's commanding it off, it's commanding it different RPMs, and the actual pump isn't doing anything. As soon as I turn the camera off, it was commanding everything, and now it's not. There we go, it's commanded it again. We're getting absolutely nothing. What we could do is, if we just get these two data PIDs, we could combine the two graphs together, so you can actually see together. I'll quickly show you that for shits and giggles. Look at that, coolant temperature 93 degrees already. Right, I'm gonna have to shut this off because that is just creeping up way too fast. What I just do for shits and giggles is I'm just going to combine these two, or just select these two and combine them, just to show you what it would look like in that case. So what this feature is really good for is anything really, you know, let's say fuel pressure, turbo pressure, you know, anything where you've got a commanded value and an actual value. And what you can do is you can combine the graphs together. Now you can see they are both the same at the minute because nothing's happening, but when one goes up, you can see if the other one follows. Now they don't necessarily follow perfectly. You can see now it's just commanded to go up. The ignition is back on, by the way. I've just turned the actual engine off. So if this now was, the pump was running, the pump would now kick on, but obviously the pump at the bottom is completely flat because it's bloody dead, or wiring issue. So that feature is really good, because when you're looking at them two together like this, even if you graph them both together, you might not necessarily see them, you know, properly, but when you combine them, you can. Now, like I said, be careful. Just because it commands at a certain value, when whatever you're looking at is working, not necessarily, you know, absolutely perfect with the line. What you're looking for is something like this where it's not working at all, or something where it's dropping out where it shouldn't be, essentially. So you can see now, look, it's commanded the pump on because the engine is still really hot, but the pump is just not doing anything. Right, even though we already did this in the other video, I'm going to quickly show you in this video. So a really good thing about bi-directional control is not only does it control something, where's that light coming from? At the back. There we go. Not only does it physically, you know, turn on or turn off something, you can also back probe it. So in other words, if you're worried about is it wiring or is it the pump, is it whatever you have, a solenoid, whatever it is, when you press activate on this scan tool, you then can get a multimeter, get a, you know, a multimeter, or oh, what's the word? Wow, I'm just so tired. I just cannot think today. Test light, that's the word I'm looking for. Anything you basically need. So when you physically press it, you can see, boom, it turns on, it doesn't turn on, whatever the case may be. So then you know, okay, well, you can't hear the pump, but you've got power and ground or whatever you need coming to that connection. Or no, you've got no power and ground coming to that connection, so maybe the part is good. It just, you know, tells you a lot. So let me just select what I need from here, and then we'll just activate it. So when the engine's on, you can't really hear anything going on. So, and a hybrid vehicle's not too bad because obviously, you know, it can be switched on because the battery's powering everything, but the engine isn't on. But I've got a long screwdriver. Our water pump is down there. I was going to put the long screwdriver on the water pump, put my ear here and activate it and see what's going on. Now, again, the importance of having live data and the importance of bi-directional control. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it, and this is the top one, so we can actually activate it to 3000 RPM, and we're going to listen to it and we're going to see what it actually goes to. So here we go. Hold on. What? Why is that now working? Oh, it sounds rough. Hold on. That sounds really, really rough. But the problem now, the engine just started, so now I can't hear anything. Oh, let me get the engine temperature sensor off as well. Right, the engine has just switched itself off. We're at 71 degrees now, so let me see if I activate it. Will the temperature go down? I do have to be careful because every time I do this, it's going to start the engine. It sounds really rough though when I put the screwdriver on the pump. It struggled to start that time. I can hear, I don't know if it's coming through on the camera properly. Seems to be cooling down. I wonder if it's sticking. Oh, someone's just come in. 1 second. Right, I'm finally back. This is making some really weird noises, and sometimes it's really struggling to start. And it's starting at a lot lower RPM now. See there, it took a few seconds. And typical, it's not doing it now. I should have filmed it. One time what it did was, it went up to 6,250 RPM, and this was just screeching as if it was stuck. So, and it sounds really rough when I put this on here. I'll see if I can get that. So if I put my phone there, the vibrations might come through. Oh, might come through the camera on the phone, but I don't know if they will. Hopefully they did, but I'm not sure. I need to try and get this pump to stick again. Right, a couple of things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it for a while now to cool down, because I think this pump is sticking. It sounds really rough, and even when I activate it now, it's struggling to start, and it takes a few seconds, and it even starts at like 1900 RPM. Okay, it didn't that time. Why does it always prove me wrong when I turn the camera on? But you can see from me activating to what it was at the beginning, it's taken a second or so for it to turn on, and it sounds really, really bad. And when I activate it, I should be able to feel some really good kind of flow through these pipes, and I can't really feel anything. Not as much as I should be anyway, let's put it that way. The really good thing is the wiring is okay. So I know the issue is definitely the pump. It's not the wiring, it's not anything else. It's definitely the pump, which is good, because at least then I don't have to start trying to chase wiring issues. Right, finally, I've got it. Right, listen to that. The pump is jamming. We're jamming. So that's what's happening. Now it's working. I'd say with me activating it, I've made it a little bit better, in the sense of, see how it's starting at 1900 now, and it's taking longer to start. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do it on camera, am I? No, just no. That's the problem anyway. The pump is jamming, but me activating it is obviously kind of freed it up. But even regardless of that, like I said, the noise this pump is making when I put the screwdriver on it is horrible. So there we go. That is the importance and how easy it makes with with reading live data, with having bi-directional controls, just how easy it is to diagnose something. It makes your life so much easier and quicker. Come on, let me just press it and catch it on camera. Come on. Come on. Yeah, get. I'm just curious, now I've kind of freed up the pump. I say that loosely because, you know, I kind of have and I haven't. I've just got the data PIDs up and I'm going to start the car, but we're going to combine it like I was actually saying before. So we're going to make the time as long as possible. I'm just going to put my foot on the throttle and start it. There we go. Look at that. So you can see now, it is actually... Now, you can actually see also, now, like I said, you know, don't worry about it, it's not exact. It's wanting it at 1900 and the, no, pump target, it wants it at 1350 and it's at 1900. But, if we just go exit that, you can see it's a lot more than what it's commanding. But again, I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Like I said before, but yeah, basically now it is commanding it, but obviously initially it was stuck. The bearing must be failing in it, because we've managed to get it stuck, you know. Well, you've seen it on the camera, and I don't know. Let's do it again. Yeah, it's definitely failing, and we just need to replace it and the customer can get going. But you can clearly see now, see, this is also sometimes the issue, because you could go over a bump and it could free itself up, and then when you come to test everything, it's fine. It's a lot easier if that pump was just completely and utterly dead. The only good thing I did is I tested it on the live data first, because if I went straight to the you know, controlling it, I could have freed it up and I would have been in trouble then, because as soon as I did this, I would be like, no, look, it's working. But it actually isn't. But I suppose even still I would have put the big screwdriver on and I would have heard how rough the pump is. So the pump is very graunchy, so I would have heard that. So it's failing, but it just goes to show, you know, how important live data is, because that could have easily been missed. Right, I was just monitoring it and look at that, just completely dropped out and then came back on again, which it shouldn't have done. Oh, look at it now. Look at that pump going. Wow. I'm so glad I caught that. I was literally just about to turn everything off. That pump is going mental. I think it's going from like 2,000. It was going from maybe, yeah, 2,000 up to 6,000. Now the car has just decided to turn itself off. Awesome. That was a great capture, that was. I'm gonna force the car on now myself. Oh, there we go. Sorry, just taking a few pictures. There we go, definitely pump. Right, so it's going to call it for this video. And this is the diagnosing, and then we'll do another video on the fix. So there we go, awesome new scan tool. Importance of bidirectional control, importance of live data and all that. But anyway, as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.